And we are alive once more to discuss House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 4. Apparently, going to be the most bloody and shocking episode of House of the Dragons we've seen yet. Let's get into it. All right, guys, Brett here, back Geek Variants, cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, House of the Dragons. And I gotta say, a couple corrections this week from stuff I said previously. Previously, last week, I said that the individual who was at the bar telling everyone, hey, I have Targaryen bloodline in me. And all of his buddies are kind of laughing at him and scoffing at him that, hey, this character probably isn't someone important. I could not be sitting here any more wrong than I currently am at this time. Not only is that character pivotal, or dare I say, instrumental in how things play out, that character is a major cause for one of the larger than life moments that happens throughout the war between that team of House Black and the war of Team House Green. So, like, there's a lot to really break down in that being said. So, that is one major correction. And then this week, we're still just kind of learning more and more and more about how we're going to see Daemon ultimately, his character come out, and how Christian Cole's character is also going to come out. Because look, last week we had Cole actually do something intelligent for once. It was insanely shocking for me, albeit he's still messing around with her, but that's probably their safe place, their little niche where they're happiest, because Cole seems to have a type if you aren't really catching it. He likes people in power and he likes getting between them, both in a sense of their friendship and the more physical sense of things, which I won't go or expand further upon. That being said, we now have to see how Cole is going to handle warfare. He has been, for the most part, a head of the King's Guard in terms of the fact that it's been a time of relative peace, tranquility, prosperousness. Everyone's getting along. We're all having a good time. We're all singing hands and talking about kumbaya and all that good stuff. Now it's time for the thing that we're all really here for. Because look, the minute that this show said, "Hey, we have dragons," not just three dragons, we're gonna have more dragons, and they're gonna be fighting each other. Yeah, things were going to only rapidly ramp up at that moment in time because look, like if you hear the word, "Oh, I've got a tank." "Oh, I have a tank. Let's shoot them at each other." That sounds entertaining to watch if it's not resulting in the loss of human life. Because this is a fantasy universe and we have dragons about to go to war with each other. Things are going to get really, really interesting before they ever head in any other direction whatsoever. So the fact that this trailer for this episode has Vagar just kind of casually flying over one army, yeah, I'd say things are about to hit the good old 100% factual thing. And if anyone's concerned about the camera going blurry, that's just my camera's thing because my computer's fan turned on. Pay it no mind. It'll be back clear in a moment. It's just hot at this moment in time. Aaron, this is going to be wild. Welcome back. Welcome back. Will might be a couple minutes late, so we'll have to bear with, and guys have to put up with me for a little bit while here, so I'll be able to get my theory crafting uninhibited and unstopped at any moment in time. But look, having Vagar fly in should kind of give us a direct message of where we're at with things. Last week, Aemon got humiliated. Straight up. He was someone that got made fun of at his most primal and primitive version. If you are an individual who has had any kind of moments where you're worried about how you appear physically to anybody or anything, imagine you're caught at your most vulnerable moment with probably the worst partner you could have had at any moment in time. And that is how people see you. And it's important people that you genuinely care about seeing you at this vulnerable state. That's what just happened to Amond. Because we found out he has not been with anyone other than his first. The first woman he lay with. That's it. That's the whole list. And she's been doing this, from what everyone is letting on, for a while. Got some used miles on this particular woman. And it's a terrible way of explaining anything, let alone a human being. I mean, he's godlike in his mind, Aaron. But the thing that we need to pay attention to is what happens when your psyche gets cracked. And he truly believes that he's A, smarter than his brother, B, a better fighter than his brother, and C, more emotionally stable than his brother. These three things put together, plus the mass humiliation that he just suffered, Amon is going to be a loose wild card moving forward. He's going to push this narrative of his glory and his ability to impact the environment and all those around him to its utmost heights. Beyond the fact that, being second born just kind of sucks, it really seems in most things. Aside from being a girl, I think it's like the worst thing you can be born with in these fantasy universes. For some reason, being a girl automatically disqualifies you from being a queen, even though Rhaenyra is clearly proving beyond a shadow of doubt she has not only the right mindset for it, she cares about the common folk. She's doing everything she can to avert war, albeit it wasn't in the book. It was something that they decided to take liberty with. At the same time, it felt true to the character. So that is something that can genuinely pay off in a fantastic way. Because as long as you don't break the character, lore bending can kind of work. As long as he doesn't change like the entire iteration of who the individual is. Alicent's still gonna Alicent. She's been someone or something that we've seen genuine struggles in her mindset, but the fact that she not only just got given the truth on a silver platter, but then upon receiving that truth, decides, hey, I'm going to continue on what I'm doing anyway. Fair is fair. This is valid. This is what we want. This is what I'm about. That's wild to have to sit here and be like, I'm the reason my own grandson isn't on this earth because I was, hanging out with the head of the Kingsguard in a very intimate setting. I caused this moment to happen because he wasn't where he was supposed to be. And then my response, when given the fact that, hey, everything that I believed on and started this whole war was because of a prophecy I wasn't even close enough to understand from my old dead husband. Yeah, that's going to sting for a while. And I know there's people out there who are still Team Green. I get it. Pick your side. Root for who you want. But at this moment in time, believing that Alicent is in the right would just be wild. Because look, you weren't a mother to your children. I understand why, because you went through some terrible situations being Otto's kid. That's going to leave you screwed up in any sense of the word. And the fact that your dad literally pawned you off to the nearest and most accessible king for, well, we know. And then you have to sit there and raise the kids, take care of this old man. Yeah, it's going to be a terrible situation. But then when he's gone, you still decide, you know what, these little kids really ain't my problem. Aemon needs a mother's love. That's why he's still hanging out with the old prostitute. On top of that, Aegon has never really been told no in his life and has been entirely spoiled because, the servants are the one raising him, trying to take care of him. He's the equivalent of a Kardashian child running around without a parent. What are you going to do in this situation? This kid's never been told no. On top of it, this kid that you've never told no to and made him believe he's special, unique, and one of one, he has a dragon. That is a terrible and absolutely heinous setup in any respect. What's up, Marcus? What is up? But like with what's going on here, we now have to really see that Alicent is the biggest problem we've encountered. And I know Aaron and Will, 100% anti Team Cole. If there was a fan club for it, those two, one and two, maybe 1A, 1B up there. And hey, Cole's got to go. He's a problem. He's a nuisance. He's not moving the plot along. He's ruining the characters. He's causing a lot of unique and just terrible problems to happen because he put Eric and Eric against each other, which, hey, I don't really care which side you're rooting for. They were brought into this world together and then they were taken out of this world together because of the wiles of one man. And that one man is Christian Cole, who was dealing with his own guilt over being where he wasn't supposed to be, but then happily jumped right back in the sack with her like nothing happened later on, just fell right back into his habit. It's going to build up. I think slow is not the word you're going to be using after this episode. This episode, as promised by the showrunner and show creator, is probably likely going to be one of our bloodiest and most controversial episodes to date. They said even if you read the books, which hey, that can't firmly, albeit I read it, one time and haven't really absorbed 100% of the source material, so not going to try and pretend like I know all and see all. But whether you've read the book or you are going into this completely blind, that we are going to be genuinely shocked by this week's episode. When has Game of Thrones or House of the Dragons ever genuinely warned us something was going to happen that was good? Just outright. When has that happened? I can't think of a time. The only time that we knew things were going to be in a precarious state was when we saw the cast reading for the final season of Game of Thrones, and everyone was kind of looking at the script like, what is this piece of parchment in front of me? What is going on here? And the actor who played Varys basically just, had it in his hand and just went, like, what the heck just happened? That's something that was worth discussing. And I think we are going to be in for an action-packed slugfest probably from minute 20 onward. I think there'll still be some exposition as we assemble our forces for House Black and House Green, respectively. They'd be switched based upon where their characters are on my screen. But once we hit go, you won't be able to take your eyes off the screen, and you're going to continue to emotionally go through the trials and tribulations that only Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon can truly put you through. It's like, look, The Boys puts you through an emotional blender as well, but that's mostly through shock value. This show hits you in its writing department. It hits you in your feelings. It hits you down to your fundamental core of who you are and really puts you on your toes in any possible situation, good or bad, because they spend so much time crafting and creating these characters to really put them within the driver's seat of what is going on here. That being said, the episode just dropped. Live stream it, HBO Max. Max is the only place you can get it. Your paid premium services are the only thing that we at Geek Variants will recommend. Episode 4 is up. I will wait till most of our target audience is able to do anything. We don't have legal rights, permissions, or authorities to put it within the confines of this screen here. So we won't be able to have that there. It's either on Max or it'll be on Prime Video, because I know Prime Video in some countries, not the US, will be able to have that there. Those are the only places, paid streaming service, that I can recommend. So episode 4 is up. I'm going to let everybody get going here. Why did it skip like right to the 3 minutes? Not enough big enough channel there. So once more, the likes gets more like-minded individuals such as yourselves here, and the subscribe button greatly helps out, get us closer to numbers, that where we can be like, hey, HBO Max, everything good. Aaron's got it. Sounds good. I'm going to skip the recap just because, And then I'm at so we can now all sync up. I'm going to watch the opening. If you don't want to watch the opening, by all means, just plow right on through without me. I won't have my feelings hurt none. I'm at the 3 minute and 18 mark, leaving it in the chat. 3 minute 18 mark. Hitting start in 10 seconds so we can get this going. Just so everyone is perfectly on the same page. Remember, paid streaming service is the only place it'll have it. We won't have it on screen. So do not go around asking for places for the free stuff. I'll have to remove those comments. I do not want to be that guy, but I will be that guy if I have to be. So that being said, apologies. That comment is going to have to be removed at this time. YouTube is not playing around with people and paid streaming services. Ready for Fountain at 318 from Aaron. Looking forward to it. Let's get this mark going. It's been 10 seconds. Let's hit play. The Glory of the Dragon doesn't have even a name for the episode yet, but they dropped it early, so I'm going to be very, very grateful about that once more. See how the tapestry has changed this week comparatively to last week. I will say I really like this tapestry look over some of the looks they've had in previous seasons. It just flows better, and it's more of a general sense of how the story is woven together. I think it makes that aesthetic a lot more pleasing. Because now it's got the battle right there. All right, so that's them. Everything's good. That's not a change from previous weeks. We're still flowing in the right direction here. Things are moving on nicely. Yeah, I'll gladly watch the intro anytime. The music, they did such a good job. I do apologize if I'm talking over that for some of you viewers. I will till the intro's done. Brian Condal has done a fantastic job with the show. Absolutely fantastic. Switch it back to the episode 4 is up. Starting with Damon. Welcome in, Carson. Welcome in. Here's my favorite troublemaker in all of Westeros. He's dreaming again. Dreaming of what he wished he could have had. I say, like, am I missing out here? Ooh, yeah, it's been a great season, Carson. I wonder if he can't understand her because of his own guilt, and he doesn't know who that is anymore. Yep, his inner guilt. Rhaenyra got the last word in strongly. Is that what you always wanted, Daemon? My spot, my throne, my crown. Oh. Oh. Oh, he's having a big time here. I'm sure the service is going to be like straight up glitching because so many people are trying to watch this episode. It's the most hyped episode in a long time for any TV show. No. Ah. Oh boy. Yeah. Hmm. Why is there a goat just inside the castle? Just hanging out? Wonder if there's some symbolism behind that I'm missing. Because Daemon's eager for war, and it's going to be. Oh, it's a kid from season one. Nice touches with the costume for Tully. Like, you can sit down now. Like, let's talk plainly, even though this game. HBO Max or Prime Video. Only places to watch it. Depends which country you are for the Prime Video. Did he just really tell him to just. Hmm. Daemon is straight up about this business. Looks like we're going to circle back to Corlys and his wife, the queen who never was. The queen of common sense in this show, apparently. Hmm. She has been shafted her whole life, Aaron, entirely. Just holding this man's face. Like, honey, what are you doing out there with the mailman? Did he just try something after talking to her? Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. How much is she knowing what's going on? Oh. Hmm? In the book, Alan is supposed to be a bastard son of Sir Corlys, if I'm remembering correctly. Who he's going to be here, who can say? Because the book and the show have made a lot of fundamental changes throughout. Not enough to ruin the story, obviously, but changes nonetheless. No, now you're just breaking things. Ruin your old husband's Legos. Can't be trusted. The meeting is milk of the pot. That's for her, and that's supposed to be their version of a plan B. All right. Christian, have you not been going where you're supposed to be? Because down the hatch, Allison. Down the hatch. They have a tea for everything, apparently, Aaron. They have a tea for everything. Oh, now you want to figure this out? It's a little late. There's a war brewing that you started. And that's the right answer. Hmm. Yeah, just down the hatch, Queen. We don't need another Cole in the world. I don't want to be that guy, but he's not exactly going to win Father of the Year anytime soon. And we've already seen how you've turned out as a mom, so can't be doing that. We can't be asking for free links, so just continue to keep deleting the comments. We cannot be asking for free links. Watch on Max with a trial, which is free, but then pay for the service if you choose to, or watch on Prime Video. Those are your two options that we can have at this time. That's unfortunate. The buildup will be worth it, RJ. The buildup will be worth it. Someone slap that old man. Talking to the royal family like he's a somebody. Not eloquently put. Hmm. Where is Rhaenyra during all of this? We need the queen to speak on the issues going on. Because she got a dragon and she can shut you up real quick. Ooh. Welcome in, RJ. Team Anti Cole is here in numbers. Welcome in. But he will be here. Corliss puts them right in their place in 10 seconds. Only because people are more concerned about what's between his legs and then the magnanimity or the accuracy of what they're saying. There's not going to be an end for a while. Princess, not an end for the while. Oh, they're done. No prisoners, eh? Interesting. Is that Cole already? Yep. Right, it's called. Speak his name and she shall enter. And they're going to behead him in front of everybody just to send a direct message as to who's really in charge now. Hey, old man went down with dignity. Love it. He's not fit for anything in this show, but that's why we hate him all so adamantly. I thought he was just going to go straight swing, but he waited for a minute there. Old man, I like you. Died respectfully and honorably by spitting on Christian Cole. And he's linking. I've got mail. This Amon will be making an appearance later, but I don't know if they're going to wait till the end of the episode to do it and do like set up what's going on forward. He's just like, I'm not telling you anything that's going on. It's not much of a castle. He said it. Yeah, it's an accurate depiction of what's going on. Oh, you. Amon, hello. Yeah, we're going to go into the pits of it now, Aaron. Amon's like, I sent the note. Amon is running things from the side. Called that. I thought the crown had better things to do. Speaks in Valyrian, so everyone can not be privy to it. But it was respectful. Everyone's like, what just happened? Someone inform us. He doesn't know enough Valyrian to get by. Oh no. You're going to look foolish in front of everyone again. And Aegon is suffering through Homelander syndrome, except he has no power to change the issue. He's the boy pretending to be at war or being powerful. But he's already figured out Aemon's scheme of, hey, if Aemon looks good in front of everybody, I think he'd make for a fine king once this is all settled because he just won the war. It's been your problem, girl. You need to get a better lock on that door. She's going through it right now. Oh, it is. She's going through it. Mm-hmm. Likely story. He already figured it out. Oh, is he here for the feet? I feel he's here for the feet. He's like, I don't care about my old places. What is this? Because he's playing chess, everyone else is still figuring out how checkers works. Because he's playing the game the way Tywin would have. Yes, the juxtaposition of Aemon's strengths and weaknesses are fantastic. He's got the same strength that Daemon does, and the same weakness. So having them as polar opposites is fantastic to see. Please don't be there's a foot thing. Don't be a foot thing. He figured it out. He's worrying about where his standing is with the foot situation. And now she has to sell that she believed he chose. Everyone's very torn. Yeah, Laris is just cutting right through all the red tape. He wants to figure out where her mind's really at so he can make his moves accordingly. You can't play chess properly if you don't know the person you're playing against. And currently, he's playing all sides, but he wants to make sure he's playing to their advantages and strengths accordingly so he can get his victory. What Seaton ultimately end role that has, that is up for debate. Another astute observation there, Aaron. And Daemon's like afraid to go to sleep because of his nightmares. Daemon's having nightmares. I'm gonna say that. Don't know if that's Daemon chasing himself or that's Daemon chasing Aemon in this new particular moment of weakness. It's eye patch, so that's Aemon. We're building up to the battle, which will probably be the last thing we see. Oh, that's him. All right. Which, like Carson was saying, the juxtaposition. And now he's just standing in the kitchen with a sword. Alice Rivers. Got a good personality about it. It's not a great job, really. I mean, oh no, I'm not a master chess player. I just enjoy watching those who actually understand the art form of chess in its entirety. I enjoy watching them. You played me at chess over in 6 moves, I'd lose. Fair. So he's having dreams because of the bed he's staying in. Now she's just messing with him because she can. She figured all that out just from this. She's pushing all the buttons. I think he's enjoying her hubris. She's drugging him, Aaron, but with what? And I can't speak to the episode of Light thing because Daemon in the book I know goes down a dark path for a while. Well, darker, but we'll see how this goes and how this plays out. And now he's back. Like 20 minutes ago, I probably told you this information. I've never met this man before in my life. Max and Prime Video. That's how we're seeing it, Ruby. Paid streaming services. Some countries is Prime Video. US, I know. Max is probably the only one. Oh, and he's still tripping. Barnell. She's playing him like a book. Oh, he's seeing his dead wife. That complicates matters. Just you're not supposed to be here because she didn't trust him, so she, ended things on her term. Can you imagine sitting at a table with Daemon unhinged, fully let loose? And he won't drink at the High Council meetings. Kingmaker, wow. Hmm? What does that have to do with anything, Aegon? A lot of storytelling, Marcus. You may have called this one. A lot of storytelling. Will we see action? I would imagine the next 10 minutes start living up. Yeah. It's like, what do you. The Kingsguard is a running joke. Tough time to decide to be a parent. Oh, you're pouting to mommy. Well, if you weren't a complete imbecile, they might ask you questions every once in a while. When they ever listen to your father. I can put on some kind of uniform of power or authority. Still not the guy. Said he's throwing temper tantrums over here. Oh, there's a couple. Just a couple. And she's turning into her father. But also she's targeting him through her guilt, which is emboldening her. What you have me do? Yeah, be a man. Step up. Earn the spot. Listen and act when necessary. Not just be like, cool, let's go act. I'll worry about what happens afterward. It'd be just a very weird way of ruling. Rook's Rest, here we go. And if you've read the books, hold on to your butts. Let everybody figure it out as it happens. He's emboldened because he knows someone's coming. Daemon's on one. He's lost himself along the way, RJ. He's lost himself. Christian's like, hey, Kingsguard, Hand of the king. I call the shots. Either come along or just be a coward. Your choice. But yeah, they wouldn't expect him by daytime. And then the queen making her strong appearance. And her son is growing restless with all these problems. You're on a little bit of a delay, Carson, but all input is welcome. Till the end. Yep. She went to King's Landing last episode to go try and end the war. And she's like, it's straight to war. Let's go. And he's ready to go because he's got that Targaryen blood in him. He's raring for an opportunity to take somebody out. Because she's figuring out the pieces while everyone's just jibber jabbering around her. And now she's like, anyone else want to speak up? Send an armada of dragons. What would a group of dragons be called? A dragoon? Oh no. Rainice, not you. Girl. She's the right call, but no. You're no match for Vagar. Because Aemon will not be sitting pretty. Oh, Aaron. We're going through it right now, my friend. Where's Will to suffer through this? Because things are about to go 0 to 100, and Aegon's still in the room drinking after the conversation he had with his mom. Let's be wise. Gets hammered at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a bad decision. Now he's gonna be like a cat. Off the ledge it goes. And he thought better of it. I don't think he's gonna meet them, Aaron. I think he's sending his brother. It's the best thing to do. She's gonna talk to him about the Song of Ice and Fire. Well, Rhaenys goes to this. She is such a BA for this. But I think we're about to lose our greatest power couple in all. Oh, he put on his armor. Aaron called it. This is the wrong idea to go. Like, I've heard of DUIs and stuff, but an FUI? Flying under the influence? She's speaking to her dragon in Old Valyrian. That's such a tender moment. And we know how tender moments last in Game of Thrones, don't we, folks? They don't. And these guys are just a sacrifice to be made. Is that a cannon or just a giant battering ram? It's a batter on wheels. Because I think Cole's going to show up in daylight and just stand there, and the dragon's going to go overhead and boop. This has to be for the dream. Her sacrifice brings forth Daenerys. I could imagine riding one of those while hammered. I'm going to ride one of those, period. Mm-mm. And now it's time for the action, everybody who'd been waiting. And just boop, boop. Just a slow advancement until the dragon shows up, and then all of a sudden, jump break. There it is. Who arrived first? All is going to plan. Ah. So maybe this is Aemond after all. Nope. That is Rhaenys coming in like a bat out of hell. First to the scene. Because can you imagine being the person like, oh, this is my house? Like, hello. And he's signaling for Vhagar, yes. It's going to happen. But they need the element of surprise, and the smoke is going to do it. They camouflage Vhagar in the night. Oh my gosh. That is such a plan. Dragon on dragon action. And he's so ready for this. Vhagar's like, whatever, I'll rest. Because he's going to wait for the moment to strike. He wants her to believe that she's fully alone. But like this is going to cause the whole change of plans and things. We would not want to be a frontline fighter on this day. Or any day, really. This just drives that home. He'd be like, why is Sunfire? He's like, you see him shaking his head? No. Because now you have to completely change the plan. Well, look at Cole out here delivering a passionate speech. Although he doesn't believe any of the words he just said. I think that's her dragon letting her know. I was like, hey. And she's like, really? The king? That smirk on her face says, I've got this kid. No asking for links in the comments. Paid streaming services only. Aaron was on almost before I was. Oh, yeah, because one dragon is certainly bigger than the other. Oh, yeah, Sunfire just took one for the team. Oh, okay. Because that's, yeah, Sunfire's doomed. It's like, hey, hello, how are you? But now the wizened leader is like, there's a problem. Yeah, there he is. There's that big boy. The guy who's going to ruin everybody's day, including mine. Because Vagar is just a little bit bigger than everybody else. Got them in size, got them in battle prowess, he's got them in experience. It's he doesn't have them in agility, but that's probably his only weakness. Because now it's going to be a 2v1 dragon, and he's going to have to save his brother's butt. Because Sunfire is not ready for this battle. Oh, that's a horn. Excuse me. Now he's like, he knew it was over. He's like, wait, excuse me? I'm here. Anybody? No. Oh, there you go, Sunfire. Nice semi-save, I guess. Oh, not saving it. It's over. Oh. Ooh. She's flying off. Amon had his moment. All right, don't turn around. Oh, no. No, 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 no. You were going the wrong way. This is based on the books, and the books are brutal. If you have a favorite character, probably don't. Like, he's distracted. He's like, there's no way that she's going to straight up attack me, and she knows the only way to end this war is to take out Amon and Vagar. Because he is about 90% of their force, just summarized right here, but you can see the size difference. Yeah, literally just one claw gotcha. Come on, Melees. And remember, fire cannot burn a Targaryen, a true Targaryen. As we've seen previous times. But this is still probably unbelievably hot right now. Oh. Melees gets 0.1 by knocking down Vagar. Oh, Cole's asleep. Is that where we're ending it? Nope. Thank God. Vagar's still going. Oh, those guys became mud pies. And they both know something is wrong. Oh, don't go back. Don't go back. Go in the wrong direction. Rainies. She's looking for Vagar, who should not be hard to find, but oh, they're playing this up. This is gonna hurt. There it is. Damn it. Go right by the throat too. That's over. Just has to finish chomping down. Oh, Melis is dead. Damn. And there goes the best character in the show. She didn't survive that. There's absolutely no way she survived that. And Amon is feeling himself right now. Don't you start with me, Carson. Don't start with the link. Don't go there. Only paid streaming services. And there's still more, guys. There's still more. Because I think Cole is going to wake up just fine. Yep, Cole lived, Aaron. Cole lived. And we lost Rainey's. They made it into the castle. All because of what's her face's brother. Because Cole was sleeping on the job. He's either sleeping or sleeping with someone on the job. Yeah, there's nobody in there, buddy. That's what Dragonfire does. It's like if you ever watch The Hobbit, it's like, yeah, teeth like daggers, claws like spears, melt you in the blink of an eye, wings like a hurricane. Bit of a problem. His horse survived. Or is that the common sense? I'll beat this. All this input of Ash has got to be wild. I'm just wondering if Sunspot or Sunfire, I think it was Sunfire, survived this. He's putting his sword away. He's like, what? I'm looking after my brother. Can I help you? It's like right there. I have one eye and I can see him. Is he actually dead? Because that would be a 1000% change in how these things play out. Huh. Um, well, uh, no preview for next week. Yo, that episode was rough. That. Whew. Wow, I got to get my thoughts together here. That sucked. That was a fantastic episode. I'm not saying that sucked, but and the power of the greens is literally within one dragon. Vagar falls, the greens will fall with them. Let me get the episode recap up, and then we'll start recapping all along here because I'm collecting my thoughts. So 4. Carson, why are we doing this? Why are you mentally torturing me as we're going through this? And then for those who have not seen the episode or who are just now tuning in, we have several character deaths. So we're going to need to be more specific with our questioning at this time. Because now we're going to get to a lot going on here. Whew. Wow. Because like Aegon being gone changes the entirety of the landscape of what transpires through the Game of Thrones or House of the Dragons, I should say. I get those two mixed up constantly. With what has transpired in this episode, we saw the death of the most noble and morally conscious character we have in this show, which, not really saying that much. Morals are kind of ambiguous at this moment in time because we had Rhaenyra, who was, running around as a teenager, making questionable decisions with her uncle and was being irresponsible. Christian Cole, so big L there. Alicent hasn't ever really seemed to amount to more than a man's plaything at certain moments in time, which is unfortunate for her character and the development of everything that was going on. It was very dialogue heavy to begin with, but when you can finish an episode as well as they just did, I would hazard to guess that this is going to be talked about at the water cooler at work tomorrow in no uncertain terms. With everything that has transpired now that we've lost Rhaenys, and this isn't like one of those theory crafting where Will's going to go off and be like, she's not dead, we never saw a body. Bro, I don't know what more definitive proof you could possibly have here than Meleys got her neck bitten to the point she choked out on air, died in the air, and then fell directly on top of her rider. Because what are you gonna do? Rhaenys knew when she took this job, the queen who never was, that there was one or two outcomes. You either live to tell the tale or you pass on to the next one. And the minute Vagar entered the battlefield, things changed drastically. So we saw how definitive it was when we had, just, good old King Aegon, bless his heart. The king who likes to keep on trying people he shouldn't be. Because, look, there is an old saying, don't start none, won't be none. Aegon continued to start a lot of things that he's never been fully capable of finishing. He didn't have the right belt size or the right height or the right intelligence. So we're edging closer and closer to the scene of scenes, which everyone knows is coming. There's been a lot of juxtaposition played about certain characters that will ultimately come to pass at certain moments in time. But look, with Rhaenys heading off to war and fighting that good fight, she showed she had more character, more heart, and more substance than any of the previous kings in Westeros, and I don't particularly care for much criticism on that particular opinion. Because look, while her brother was, not even before her, he was soft. He wasn't all that strong, and he wasn't doing things of the utmost or highest character, period. He was soft, and he wasn't willing to push things when he needed to push to make Rhaenyra the queen. And Aegon was a bozo who's been running around playing and pretending to be king at any moment in time where he rightfully shouldn't have. And Rainey showed, hey, I'll lead from the front. I will hold these diplomatic meetings while Rhaenyra is gone. I will hold everyone here. So it was different to it. There's definitely a lot of different changes that they made. And there were liberal changes made, but at the same time, I'm not saying they were wrong for doing so. Um, there's been a lot of good stuff going on, particularly with the overall story that's being told here. Because now we're kind of seeing ultimately that certain things and certain realities of war are hitting home stronger for our characters than they ever have before. It's one thing to sit across a table and just be like, all right, we're going to move this person here and this person there. We're going to figure things out. And then you basically hit sim on things and let things play out as they would. And you're not involved. And you're like, oh, darn, we lost some of the people here at the Blackwater. We lost some people here at King's Landing. But actually physically being there for these fights and seeing the depths of the characters that we've spent a latter portion of 2 seasons building up, why we believe in them, what we believe in them, what certain paths they have, how they really truly and intrinsically believe in one another, to get everything to this moment in time, and then to have to watch as the queen who never was realized ultimately there was absolutely no way forward without Vagar gone. If the team of House Black is truly going to be one, they need to have Vagar out of the picture, because Aegon, while a large piece in the fact that he's the king, he also has the same amount of moves as the king in chess does. One swap around with the rook, and other than that, it's just one piece around, as albeit a queen can move anywhere she wants to, basically on the board within any move other than except the knights. So now that we have Aegon out of the picture, it's not as big of a win as you'd think. He's still important in the sense of title, but we saw from Otto and we saw from Allison very, very plainly, no one has viewed him as king at all. That he is merely just the placeholder for them to get their foothold in, to sit on the most uncomfortable chair in all the Seven Kingdoms and probably every fantasy universe that's ever existed. Why people continue to fight over this hunk of garbage shows more to the dedication that people have to the, I want to say, the ideology of power rather than the actual power from itself. Because sitting in a chair does not make you powerful. I'm sitting in a chair. I'm not powerful in the slightest. Not going to pretend anything. Even if this was the Iron Throne, still not in charge. I'm about as in charge as Aegon was of his kingdom. Sure, you can appoint Kingsguard. Sure, you can make some occasional decisions. But behind the scenes, people are grabbing you by your shoulder, left, right, and center, and pulling you in several different directions. Be like, hey, go do this, go do that, go fix this, go fix that. And it's like you're basically steering him away from where the real problem is, so he doesn't muddy up whatever plan you have going on. This is why Aemon's plan was ultimately what it was. His plan would have gone flawlessly and without a hitch if Aegon didn't show up. But Aegon being Aegon and being impulsive, things tend to get out of hand rather quickly. Because remember, DUI is a terrible thing. Flying under the influence can now lead to, certain doom and certain demise. And the true ruler is the hand, in my opinion. Albeit, it's a terrible job to have. The only person we have literally seen survive being the hand of the king on multiple go-rounds is Tywin. And he still didn't survive it because he ultimately got canned. And yes, that was a toilet joke. I'm sorry. Sometimes these things happen. I really like puns. It's like, hey, what was Aegon II's least favorite piece of furniture? An Otto mountain. See, boo me for that one. That's fair. But like at a certain moment in time, Aegon just doesn't know how to think. He doesn't know how to act. He doesn't know how to behave accordingly because he never had his parental figures. His dad was falling apart, and his mom was Alicent. She was doing everything she could to fall into place with everyone who was, well, around her, because she has a guy who's obsessed with her feet. She has a guy who's literally became hand of the king, albeit his hand has been more places with the queen than they'll ever be with anyone else. So And now we're kind of having to look at this as as straight up can be. Losing Aegon is not a big piece to lose. Losing Rhaenys, the queen who never was, who was our most experienced in the field, as clearly decided upon at the table that she was the most experienced, the most seasoned, the most wise, the most on point with this moment. To send her off is to send your biggest and best piece out there. Sure, probably not the biggest dragon, and sure, Daemon is probably better in a sword fight. Did we see any sword fighting really take place? None, really. It was just two dragons attacking each other, and the person on the back just gets to pretend to be in charge. It's much the same way a Pokemon trainer is in charge of their Pokemon. We're in charge only in the sense that we're ultimately making the decisions. And if you don't have enough badges at a certain point, then things tend to fall back upon you and things go poorly. And Daemon's going to cook. Yeah, Daemon has been cooking in a lot of things. And he's going to continue to be a huge part of what's going on moving forward. I understand where you're going with that, but I don't think people are ready for that topic of conversation just yet. Daemon is going to trip and continue to fall from what little grace and what little glory he had beforehand rapidly. He is the only thing left. Well, the only thing that's holding him up at now is his pride. It's his ego. It's his over ambition. It's his over assertiveness. His ability to make decisions quickly is the only thing what's going on. Is Daemon forcing himself forward because pride won't let him fail? Albeit, now he has Alice Rivers right next to him, giving him the drink and sitting him on the magic bed which induces dreams. The last thing we should be doing is giving the person who's the most unhinged in this universe bad dreams. You want them to have a good night's sleep. You want them to have good food. You want them to have good company. You want them to be happy at all times so they're not running off on tangents or running away to castles and pretending they're the most important piece in the world when ultimately, if he had been here, things could have gone semi differently. Albeit, I don't think Caraxes is much of a battle for Vagar, but that's another conversation that we'll have what's going through. The ending will be different from the books. That is something I still have yet to decide upon. They've made some liberal changes, and they've definitely included some characters in ways I didn't think that they'd incorporate them. But the fact that they're going through things in a way that George R.R. Martin is happy with the episodes playing out, that's got to be good. If the original creator and author is 100% a fan of what's going on, sure, he's got some things to complain about, but there's tons of times where he's literally been talking about Ryan Condal and been like, hey, this guy really gets my writing. I really wish he'd penned certain aspects of these characters in my books because some of the changes he's made, I wish I could have had. That is the ultimate nod you could have. It's the exact opposite of what, say, Star Wars and George Lucas has had, where George Lucas is constantly like, I wish they had done this. They should have done that. But that was not the time and place to discuss that. George is happy. He's on Twitter, for the most part, in a state of happiness. And a lot of people are now starting to speculate, I don't know why, that George could have penned out the end of A Song of Ice and Fire, or at least the next book of it, and have that out by the end of House of the Dragon. I don't necessarily believe it, but he's been reaching out to publishers and talking with them and getting some more input into what's going on in that situation. So whether that, becomes something down the line could be possibility, but again, I'm 100% in the camp of there's no chance of this happening this soon. There's no way he came out this moment in time. He writes about as quickly as it takes for me to get to the point. So not really going to be, one of those rumors or one of those things on Twitter that I 100% believe. But look, this episode was fantastic. It was slow in the beginning. I'll give them that. A lot of fans are starting to get angsty. I don't understand why. I don't remember how many big dragon battles we had in season 1. Just gonna throw that out there. I know you were promised big dragon battle, and it's hard sometimes sitting here waiting for big dragon battle. But if every single episode was a big dragon battle, I feel like people would be kind of bummed out at a certain moment in time. Be like, we've seen this. This isn't new. This isn't exciting. This is fresh. So when you have the depths of these characters built up, due to these boring episodes, these things have impact. They hit because we spent so much time last season and this season delving into the character of the queen who never was. We got to really see from her position and viewpoint how the world viewed her, how they thought about her, how they treated her, and how she responded in turn. So having these moments with a slow buildup, I would rather have than every episode be a dragon battle. And I'm a sucker for big battles. Okay. Some of the reasons I love The Lord of the Rings as passionately as I do is because Helm's Deep was as epic as it was, and the battle involving everyone at the very end was so dang fantastic. I had no choice but to like it. Okay. Like the March of the Rohirrim to save Gondor, one of the greatest action movies, period. I don't care. Personal opinion there. But big battles, I'm a sucker for them. They need to be done correctly. They need to have meaningful impact in ways that can shape, inform, and help everyone come to the correct opinions about these characters because we've understood the breadth of them, the depth of their characters, and their motivations for doing what they are doing. We understand Aemon is trying to prove that he deserves to be king. That was his whole motivation from jump. He was pushing Aegon out of the way because he's like, look, I can do this. I've been born for this. I've been bred for this. I fight with the best fighters. I ride my dragon constantly. I practice my High Valyrian. I am about this life. He was that dude who is no poser, and everyone's like, I want to be like that guy, but never put the time, effort, and energy to be like an anime-like character within a fantasy universe. Aemon succeeded in that regard, and now he's completely moving up even higher on people's villain hierarchy because look, he ended Rhaenyra's son. Now, by ending Melee's and the Queen Who Never Was, things are kind of ramping up on his villain arc, if you catch my drift. How many more pieces have to fall before people start taking him more seriously? Sure, we saw him in his full nude and he was hanging out with an older woman for comfort and pleasure. We just saw what he'll do to people that don't really believe what he believes. He'll take care of business and handle what needs to be done. And that's something that most people in Westeros can't really say. There are two people who are very, very good at doing things in Westeros at this moment in time: Aemon and Daemon. And both are the most unhinged people in this universe. But when push comes to shove and you need a big piece on the board, who do you think is going to answer the call better than them? They want the fight, they seek the fight, they end the fight. That is the moment that everyone, whether you're a book reader or just a show watcher, have been anticipating ever since they basically drew swords at each other across the dinner table at the family gathering. They were squared off because fate has it deemed as such that if you want to be the best, which Daemon is, you have to beat the best. And unfortunately, Melee's and the Queen Who Never Was ran up against a terrible competition that I'm 100% certain that they didn't want to have happen. They didn't anticipate on having happen, but were willing to go out for the cause and trying to help everyone get things done. And as we've seen, Vhagar, he can be damaged. He's not impenetrable. But at the same moment in time, if you're going to only get like these little side jabs in, Vhagar is going to finish you with as much force and tenacity as possible. And Aemon's tactician to hide behind this castle and then shoot up at the right possible moment to ensure the end of Melee's. It's brilliant strategy. And it's something that an experienced fighter or someone who spent a lot of time learning from the best in Westeros about how to be a tactician would come to know and understand. Hence why he even took the time to literally strategize and camouflage the biggest dragon in Westeros at this time as beautifully as he did. Oh, we would pay so much money to see Balerion the Black Dread do anything in this universe. He is the one dragon that we'll always have to sit here and speculate about what he could have done or what he should have done. There's so many things differently that he could ultimately do. So being able to sit here and just only reminisce over the fact he's just a giant dragon skull is a little unfortunate. But at the same time, we don't want someone to be rushed just so we can see something. The dragon from Lord of the Rings, it was already on. I can't remember the name of the dragon. He was literally the size of an actual mountain. And he was incredible. And the fact that an elf slew him of all things was wild because I can't imagine an elf doing it. So the episode has already been up, it's already off. And then, yeah, there's just so many things within the fantasy realm you would love to see. But I'm of the proponent of doing things right and correctly. So if we just got Balerion in like a flashback and a flashback only, it's just not the same. And like I know the dragon is in the Silmarillion, so that would be your good place to watch. And then watching Lord of the Rings is always a good time. Those are my comfort movies. Watch them at least once a year. The Blu-ray extended editions absolutely cannot go wrong. It's one of my favorite things of just comfort and happiness and getting all those emotions out that you have forever. We do not watch it online for free. You watch it on Max or Prime Video. No one will have a link in the comments for that. The only way to watch it, quote unquote, free is to sign up for the paid streaming services on a trial basis. Otherwise, you're basically going to be SOL on that one. So far, but Reed, I'm happy with his pacing. Some changes aren't necessarily the best, but some changes aren't necessarily the worst. They haven't done anything that I would say is heinous or egregious or something that would change everything for the worst. But at this moment in time, there's not really too much to be done about it. It's like, regardless if we agree with it or not, as long as George is happy and the story is told fluently and makes sense for everybody, we can't really do too much with. Yeah, they were surprise changes. But for me, I would take surprise changes over, hey, they went page for page, line by line, and made sure every single little bit of dialogue was included or every single little bit of action was included the exact same way it happens, because then the book readers would be able to sit up here and be like, hey, this is exactly how this happens. This is when this happens. This is what it's supposed to be about. This is what it's supposed to mean. Here you go. Here's the plot for season 2. I can tell you everything that'll ever happen. Doesn't really translate to much of a product. And for those who only view the show through Max or Prime Video streaming services, depending on what country you're in, that could get a little stale because you always have people shouting from the rooftops, hey, this is how this ends. This is how this happens. This is how everything comes to pass. I like sharing what knowledge I have, but I don't like doing it in a spoiler sense to where it ruins someone else's experience, because that's not really what Geek Variants is about. There are tons of other shows we cover, like The Boys or the My Hero Academia, where I know where most things are going or how they're supposed to have gone. Albeit during every watch along I have with you guys, the viewers, rarely will I ever talk about exactly what will happen. I can hint at things, I can kind of allude to things, but never in my right mind would I sit here and tell you this is exactly how this is. Here's a spoiler. Good luck. So I absolutely love the season of The Boys. I guess we have to stand in stark opposition for that. It's about time that people understood that The Boys have been making fun of everybody and everything for the longest. And sure, some of the pacing has been off, but the storytelling that they've done and the acting that has transpired has further reminded me how good Prime Video is with their products and how good they take care of stuff going on. So I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. I don't know if it's the pacing or the storyline or what your particular issue with what's going on. The pacing, I mean, it is a tad slow, but again, The Boys is one of those shows where it's more shock value than anything else, because like last week's episode, I'm still recovering from last week's episode. That wasn't anything I anticipated on having happen, and it was a complete shock to me and probably to all those at home who are watching, because I know everyone who's in the watch party was sitting here going, okay, what the heck is this? Why is this happening? And it's like, The Boys has its reasons, albeit sometimes you don't necessarily have to understand it. The shock value is always there to kind of bring everybody back in on the same page. Like, yo, did you see what happened in The Boys? So you have that topic of conversation to have with each and every person as you go throughout the week. So it's like, it was a fantastic episode overall. I don't really have too much to talk about in terms of the rest of this episode. Anyone have any final thoughts? If not, be sure to hit that lovely red subscribe button. Greatly helps the channel out. Remember, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we have a 1,000 subscriber giveaway to a couple lucky winners. We'll let everyone know how that's going moving forward. So we'll be sure to let everybody know what is going on with that when that transpires. When we hit that lucky mark, follow button on Twitch is also free as well. Greatly helps us out. Reminds us that you guys love the content just as much as we do. I've been Brent from Geek Variants, telling you this was a fantastic and shocking episode. Stay tuned for the video breakdown here shortly.